later, I realized, oh, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. When I found myself at the healing center and I had all those beautiful beings around me, all those guys that were going through their own process, and they had the time to support me in my process as well. Just got to click on something on the screen here. That was incredible. That was exactly what I needed. I needed those guys around me. I couldn't have done it without them. They were my mighty companions, right? Some of them were gentle. Some of them were in my face, like Ted. Ted was in my face, man. The thing, one of my biggest fears when I first got there was Ted was in America teaching at the time when I got there, right? I hadn't met him yet. And Greta, she was Dutch. She was like my mother hen. So after my awakening, she was the first person that explained to me what had happened to me, what the Course in Miracles was, where I was, what everything was about. Like, she just gave me, it was like that scene in The Matrix, where Neo comes out of the stuff and Morpheus is explaining to him that he's been asleep in this jelly connected to a computer for his whole life. And he's like, no, I don't want to believe it. I don't want to believe it. Like, that was me. Right. And Greta was my mother hen, and she was so, I don't know, she was gentle and she was also very assertive. She's like, this is how it is, like, accept it. And everybody kept saying to me things like, oh, Ted's the main teacher here. He's away at the moment. He'll be back, and then you'll meet him, and he'll really do a number on you, because he's so confronting and so whatever. Spiritual teachers, officially or not officially. I mean, everybody's your teacher when you see it right, but I am my own teacher. I had that sort of Buddhist background and transcendental background. So my imagination of a teacher was somebody who was gentle and at the same time authoritative and all this sort of stuff. And Ted, he was like a bull in a china shop. And I remember one day sitting, listening to him talking, and I thought, surely this guy can't be my teacher. Like, what the hell? It's like, this guy's so brash, and he's from New York, and he's got this manner about him, and he's like, yeah, and like and then I found out he used to be in the mafia, and it's like, what the hell? But God chooses, you know, he,
Oh.
right, exactly. Exactly. So it's like, man. And I remember Greta saying to me one day, the first time I stood up in front of everybody and did an actual formal declaration, talk, whatever. This is before going out, and and she came up to me afterwards and she goes, "Oh, I didn't know." I can't do a Dutch accent very well. She goes, "Oh, I didn't know you had that in you." She said, "You're a diamond in the rough," or something like that, And anyway, but it's just funny. But you got to go through what you go through, Tina. So, and some people will take time out. Some people will go off and they'll do a little sabbatical, and they'll just draw their circle, and they'll sit and whatever. And if you got to do that, do it. I mean, the thing you got to remember is your salvation is the most important gift you're giving to your world, for you and your world. It's more important than having to, oh, I got to go to work tomorrow. Fuck going to work tomorrow. It's like Jesus has got you. You really got to, like, stand in that place. Jesus has got my back. I always say Jesus pays the bills, right? Jesus pays the bills. He's in charge. There's no lack in God. If I need to take time out from my work, my family, my whatever, and go off into the mountains for a year or 6 months, or do whatever I feel my heart is telling me to do, then I've got to be able to trust that that's what it is. And it's like, when I knew I had to go to the healing center, I walked out of my house. Everything. I left my job, walked out of my house. I quit everything, just left. The only thing I took was a bag of clothes, my dog, and my utility. And that was it. And off I went. I left everything else to fate. It's like, and it all sorted itself out. I didn't have a thing to do with it. And I still had food in my belly and a bed to sleep in and everything else. Like it just all fell into place. You know, so the resistance that comes up is always going to be, I don't want to lose my world. Right? I don't want to lose the world that I think I've made for myself that represents what I perceive to be my safety and my comfort. Right? When Jesus says, give up the world and follow me, he doesn't give a damn about your house, your job, your car, your reputation, none of that stuff. He's got a bigger mission. It's a higher purpose. It's like, let's get your ass out of here. Let's turn you into a teacher and then plonk you back into the matrix so you can help others. But first, you've got to help yourself. Right? You can't represent this to others until you've been through it, until you've been down that rabbit hole, seen where it ends, and actually done the about turn. Right? When you're in the process of purification, that's what's going on. Don't be surprised all this shit comes up and it's like all of a sudden you want to run away. You want to hide. You want to have it not be true that there is no world. You know? And the funny thing is you pick up the book, you pick up A Course in Miracles. Oh, it's over there, but you pick up the book and you'll read it and you'll read it and you'll read it and you'll read it and it doesn't really go in. Not really. Right? The central lesson that the Course attempts to teach is that there is no world. We don't exist.
It's all an illusion.
As these individualized identities. Are we back?
Oh, yeah. You were only gone for a second. You're good.
It's all right. I can just see my screen's going, like the Matrix is jittery.
You're good. You're fine.
Oh, man, my internet connection is unstable. Everything in the world is unstable.
Unstable.
I shouldn't be surprised. Hey, Anna. Anna's my rock today. What have you got on the wall behind you today? Have you got, what is that, the Desiderata or something?
No, it's like a family coat of arms thing.
Oh, cool. This too shall fall. It's funny. All idols must fall, right? So everything that I think and feel about myself, my world, my society, my position in life, my reputation, my job, everything. The rug just goes whoop, and Jesus pulls it as hard as it can be, and you're left on your ass, humbled, not in a bad way, but in a grateful way. Thank you, Father. Thank you for liberating me from these ideas that I have about myself in falsity, because none of them can tell me actually who I am. None of them are my truth. Right? And then when that happens, you just sit there, like where you're at right now, Tina. You just sit there, you be still, and you allow that process to fulfill itself. You know, if you weren't in a process of purification, you'd simply be about your day. You'd probably go and have a couple of drinks with your friends to deal with the energy that you were feeling or whatever it is, and you'd adjust to it. You'd adjust. It's what we do as human beings. It's the human condition, constantly adjusting to the pain of separation. But like the Buddha said, life is suffering, right? It's true. Even the happiest things that you have here in the world is just lipstick on a skeleton. It's still suffering, right? Because good implies bad. You can't have the yin without the yang. So even the things that we think out there, it's like when Harley Davidson went woke, and I looked at that, and it's like there's one of my long-standing idols of dependability for what it is they represent, and all of a sudden now even that's changed, right? At first, there's the shock of being uprooted in something that I hadn't remembered for a long, long time that I had this association with, and then there's the joy of being rid of it. It's like, holy cow, there's a false root. There's a false association of dependability and whatever. My only dependability is God. My only dependability is love. And that's it. You know? So be still and know that I am God. the tip of the iceberg. Whatever it is you're feeling, whatever disturbance to your peace of mind that you're feeling is only ever the tip of an iceberg that if you are still, it will take you under the surface and show you how deep it goes, how big that iceberg is. Whether you are sufficiently trained of the mind to be able to not adjust to what you look at, to what it is that feels like, to where you go with it as far as going down the rabbit hole, that's up to you. You know, it's like I never know. It's like if knowing what I know now, and this is kind of false what I'm going to tell you because, I mean, everyone's individual, but knowing what I know now in a general sense, I would only ever say to anybody, just read your book, do the lessons, and don't do anything else. Just put your whole heart and soul into everything that's right in front of you. Quit your job, walk out of your house, go and live in the desert, go and find people that are of a similar thing, and just do whatever it takes, because you're going to have to do whatever it takes eventually anyway. Eventually, everything is going to be changed so much. All your comfort zones are going to be torn away. All idols are going to fall. You're going to find yourself naked in the world, like literally naked in the world with no idea of yourself. And that's going to be where salvation finds you. You can't take any souvenirs. You can't bring nothing with you. God created you as a perfect, sinless, beautiful mind, part of itself. And that's how you have to return your mind. No judgment, no self-identity, nothing. Here I am, Lord. Purify me. Scour away all my falsity. Whatever it takes. And it's like Ted used to say, if I could just nail your feet to the floor, you know, so you wouldn't run away. Nobody really wants to do this. I mean, when you begin to get a taste of it, when, you know, at first, everybody's grateful for finding a spiritual alternative to their meaningless world and their world of unfairness and hypocrisy and everything else like that. And it's like, thank God, here's Jesus representing something dependable. And then once you get into the process, give up the world and follow me, and you start to apply the teachings, you realize that giving up the world is a real thing. You're not giving it up on a physical level. I mean, it doesn't exist on a physical level. It's an illusion, but you're giving it up as an emotional attachment to an idea of being separate from everything, separate from source. And it's like, man, there's been a lot of, if you look at it as the idea of lifetimes, there's been lifetimes of investment in what it is that's been falsely perceived as to be dependable. You know, by the time we reach 25, 30 years of age, we generally consider that we're capable on our own terms of meeting the world on its own terms. And we've got a sort of master plan and a plan B and a plan C. If this happens, I could do that. And we've got all these possibilities and potentials for how it is we're going to get from the time of our birth to our grave, and then be as happy as we can in between. You know? And none of it works. None of it works. You just pop up here again. A lesson repeats until it is learned. A lesson repeats until it is learned. Right? The one lesson I'm learning is I'm whole and perfect. Or there is no world. It's the same thing. It's the flip side of the other, you know. I'm whole and perfect as God created me. I am the Christ. Along with you, we are all one. Or all is one. All is one I like better than we are all one, because it doesn't imply the separated state. But you can't get out of teaching this verbally or anything without having to teach it from within the framework of separation. It doesn't do any good to be transcendental about it. Which is a more mature, I guess, or a more advanced state of realizing the nature of spiritual practice than all of those guys from the Eastern traditions who very much fall into transcendentalism. And I still meet guys here that that transcendentalize away their problems. You know, it's like we'll just sit in meditation for 5 hours, and then when you come out of the meditation, the problems are still there. Nothing's really changed, you know. So anywho, don't want to get into that. That's another rabbit hole. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing to be upset. I love it when you're crying. I love it when you're emotional, because I know what's going on. I know the true thing that's going on. You know, it's that healing, that opening up, the opening of the heart, opening of the mind to what is really true inclusiveness. Not segregated inclusiveness, right? So it's like, if you look at the history books, there's always been the rise to power of a person, individual, or group that represents what they perceive to be a better way of living in the world, etc., etc., etc. And it perpetuates itself in one form or another, age after age after age, eon after eon, millennia after millennia, and the history books are full of it. You know, it's like there's nothing you can do in the world that is going to last forever. And what you're looking for in your spiritual discipline is something that will last forever. You're looking for the truth of yourself, something that can't be changed, something that can't be corrupted. Right? Because in you somewhere is the memory of that, and it drives you crazy. It's like a splinter in the mind's eye. You've got this thing bugging you. There's something wrong with the world. There's something not right here. I'm going to try and fix it out there by changing the demographic. It'll never work. The splinter is in your mind's eye. It's the call. It's calling you to pay attention. What is this? What is this tiny little irritation? Maybe you hear it as a powerful calling. Maybe you're hearing it as a voice from the sky. Most people just sort of find themselves frustrated with the world and beset by stupid people and ridiculous agendas and all this kind of crap. Why is it like this? And they try to figure it out there in the world, rather than seeing that, hang on a minute, I'm the central figure in this conundrum wherever I go. Maybe it's me. Maybe I am my own problem. And also, maybe I am my own solution, right? One problem, one solution. I think I'm separate from God. The solution is impossible. God's everything, which must therefore include me. Right? That's my true identity. That's my true home. That's my true nature. It's my true sense of self. But to have it as a concept is nothing, because salvation is freedom from concepts. You have to experience it. You have to go down the rabbit hole and pick it up where you left it. Right? Imagine a long, dark tunnel, and it goes on and on and on. It gets darker and darker and darker and darker. And right at the end there, in a place that you swore you would never look at again, is a sign that says, don't go past here, stay away, danger, death, blah, 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 blah. And every scary thing you can muster, you put there in your psyche. Right? It's emptiness, it's nothingness. It feels like the end of you to approach that place, which is why you recoil from it. But it's literally the doorway to finding yourself. But you have to approach it with some sense of maturity and some sense of preparedness and some sense of courage, faith, and all of this stuff, which is why we're doing this. We're building our faith. We're building our courage. We're building our dependence on God. We're becoming completely dependent on God. God is my source, nothing else. Everything else has to be stripped away or it will corrupt my journey. It has to be gone. You got to let it go. All right. Anything else is a tether around your ankle that keeps you to the world. And at the end of that dark tunnel, in the Eastern traditions, they call it the void or the emptiness in Buddhism, or the no mind state. You know, you've got to confront that. You've got to go into it and allow yourself. Most people recoil from it in terror, right? And it is terrifying, but you allow yourself to go into it without the observation, without And that's where mind training comes in, without the judgment of it, and allow yourself to be sucked through to the other side. I can only talk about it as another side. It's not really another side, because there's no gap in God. There's no emptiness. It's like something going flip, and it, in the twinkling of an eye, it turns, it flips, and you're back in reality, right? If you want to look at that as the idea of a doorway in your mind or a portal in your mind, you can. If you want to look at it as knock and the door shall be opened, you can look at it as that, right? Be still and know that I am God. You can look at it as that. But all of these moments, Tina, like the one you're having now and the one that Carrie's having now, it's like they're practices. They're practice moments for not adjusting to your pain, not adjusting to your terror, not adjusting to that one moment that is on a precipice of occurring here and now in any given moment where you choose for it to occur, right? Your awakening's not up to situations outside of yourself. It's up to you. When do you want it? I'm telling you, it's happening here and now. It's happening all the time, because time isn't a factor in it. It's an ever-present offering. It's an ever-present calling. It's an ever-present promise. And you're either saying yes to it and entering in, or you're thinking about it. The realization that you're in a constancy of thinking about it or saying yes, but that might be a bit of a shock to the system. It's like, what do you mean? But just remember, God's not preventing you from anything. God's not holding you back from your memory of him. You are, and it's conscious and deliberate. It's conscious and deliberate. And you'll even use A Course in Miracles to do it with. I've been studying this book for 20 years. I can tell you every chapter and verse in the Bible. But have you looked upon the face of your Creator? Have you recognized that unity, that oneness? If you haven't, it's because you don't want to. Right? And that's straight Maharshi. That's straight Jesus. That's like, there's nothing stopping you. You're a child of God. You're entitled to remember your Father. You're entitled to miracles. You're entitled to absolutely everything. But you don't want everything. You just want just enough to make your life here in the world less painful than it is. And that's the bitter pill. I don't want God. I just want a better life in the dream. And it's like that will lead you to the dark night of your soul. Stay there in that place. Draw a circle around yourself in that realization. Now, what are you going to do? You're going to go out and buy a better lounge suite, a bigger television. You're going to go and tell your neighbors how you had a Zoom meeting today and somebody told you something. It's like, I can't pad this out and make it soft, you know, because it's a non-compromising teaching. Jesus isn't mucking about. This offer was made 2,000 years ago, and all of us, me included, sat around and let me think about that, Jesus. You know, the kingdom of heaven waits for no man. It's like, whoop. This time when Jesus says, give up the world and follow me, I'm not going to turn around and say, let me just go and sell my stuff in the marketplace, Lord. I'm just going to jump down off my wagon. I'm going to follow him. Whatever he says, wherever he goes. And when the Roman soldier says to me, who else here is with this man? I'm putting my hand up and I'm going, fuck yeah, I am. Nailed to the cross, whatever. I mean, all the examples you would ever need are in the New Testament. All the examples of how to follow Jesus, how to say yes to God, to love, to life, to truth is right there. Even the bandit nailed to the left of him on the other cross. I believe in you, Lord. He's already fucking nailed up. He's already nailed up. He don't have to say nothing. He didn't have to say anything.
Still don't know what to do. What do you do? What am I supposed to do?
Be still. Right? The thing asking, what do I do, already knows what to do. Right? Be still, give up the world and follow me. That place, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Stay there. Let it take you to where it is you can't ask that question anymore. Right? But you're not going to stay there in that place until finally you're strong enough to do that. All right? You have to learn to become miracle-minded to become revelation ready. Right? And Jesus is in charge of that, luckily, not you, Carrie. He's got you, all right? You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about what to do. What do I do? You just say, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Here I am. Here's the next step. This is the next moment.
I feel like I've been doing that forever.
Right. Good. Probably at least 130 billion years. If you're a scientist. But remember, in all of eternity, that's nothing. You think you do, like Jesus says in the Course, what's 10,000 years for they have come? What's 10,000 years for they have come? I mean, I'm here with you. I'm telling you the truth of what's occurred in my mind. Right? Now, if you truly want only God, you'll follow the example set by Jesus, no matter what it takes, whether you're doing that as some kind of imbecile who's going to go draw a circle in the desert and put yourself to the test, or whether you're methodically trying to work out the teachings and see how they apply. It doesn't really matter. He's got you. Right? You put your hand in the hand of the man that crossed the water. He's not going to let go of you. You could possibly let go of him, but he's not going to let go of you. Like Jesus says in the Course, I am aware of the revelation readiness of all my brothers everywhere throughout all of time. Your job is simply to accept that and have nothing else that you accept as a plan B. What if Jesus isn't aware of me? Right? You're a child of God. Wake up. Step up to the plate. Swing your bat.
You just blow up your life, just fucking walk out of shit.
I did. I'm not saying you're going to do that. I'm saying give up the world and follow me. What that looks like for you in your own process, I don't know. How you're going to do it, I don't know. But I can tell you that it's already done because God's will is already complete in you and for you. We're just in this slow time experience of realizing and working out how that works for us on an individual level, one-on-one. Here I am, Lord. I'm just a baby in the nursery of salvation. I'm starting to work this shit out. One of these days I'm going to actually apply it. When will that look? When will that be? How will that look like? I don't know. That's up to you. But you're entitled to miracles. Right? The place I always get to in any disturbance is I need a miracle. That's why it's called A Course in Miracles, not a course in I can work this out, right? You can't work out a miracle. You got no say in it. You have no say in it. You have to surrender in this moment, in this moment, in this moment, in every moment. Here I am, Lord. Here I am, Lord. Heal my mind of the belief in separation, right? And you'll say it and you'll say it and you'll say it. And it's like you'll fake it until you make it. Right? But remember, Jesus is aware of revelation readiness of all brothers everywhere throughout all the time. You don't have to worry about whether or not it's going to happen. It's already happened. This is what it looked like. If you were to step out of time and watch a review, watch a TV series like Dallas, you guys know Dallas, that it never ends. It's just like this long, ridiculous thing. It's like you'd be looking at, oh, I see me at the Zoom meeting. That was episode 25 of My Story of Salvation. I see I've got 12 episodes to go, right? You don't know that, though. You're in the middle of it right now, and instead of having to perpetuate those extra 12 episodes or whatever, I mean, Buddhism tells you, in about 14 incarnations you can achieve in life. Fuck that. How does that help me now? How does that help me right now? Right? So Jesus says, well, just be still. Be still. operate around forgiveness and the willingness to forgive and allow the Holy Spirit to do what needs to be done in you, and don't adjust to it. Stop jumping out of the damn circle. Right? And then the Alpha and the Omega, instead of having to go through the entirety of all those stupid episodes of doubt, they start to collapse in. They come into you and they find you. Ready? Everyone do this with your hands. Put your hands up. They find you in this moment, here and now. Thank you, Father. Here and now, right? Now, in the process of meditation, you take this here and now internally, because the external is the slow time representation of what's going on in your mind. Okay, but you've got to learn to do that. Mind training is your most important thing now. I can tell you the shortcut. Just go draw a circle in the desert and sit there. But I'll probably read about you on the news, hear about you on the news. We found this woman's body in a circle in the desert, and they'll put me in handcuffs. So probably don't do that, but you'll get to that place. That's a mental state. It's a state of mind, right? It's like Wim Hof sits for 48 hours or whatever on a freaking glacier in a pair of underpants, just to prove that the mind is powerful, more powerful than the body, but he's proving that he's the body by doing that. It's not really mind over matter. He's look at me, I'm a body that can do these things. I mean, it's incredible. It's great. And there's all sorts of stories of people that have overcome the limitations of the physical belief of limitation in many ways, but we don't want any experience of body. We want to have a no body experience, no world. There is no world. There is no body experiencing the world. And that's going to be this paradoxical thing that you won't be able to work out in your mind, right? Because you've put the blinders there. You've put the block there. You're always going to come up against the paradox, and you're always going to want to recoil from the paradox until finally you realize for yourself, not because I say so, don't listen to me, until finally you realize for yourself, I got to face my paradox. I seem to exist, but I can't possibly exist because God is formless and I'm part of God. I am spirit. I want to know what that is. If I am spirit and this is just an avatar, just a suit of flesh that I'm using to navigate this dreamscape, I want to remember what the truth of me is. Eventually, through multiple, for me it was multiple, I mean, maybe you can do it in one go, but through multiple experiences of stepping out into faith, my faith was increased to the point where when I did find myself in the dark night of my soul, God knows how, literally, God knows how, I asked for help from my heart, from my mind, from everything I had. I tried to kill myself before. I took a whole bucket of pills and put a rope around my neck and jumped off a garbage can out in the breezeway of my apartment. Somebody found me, cut me down, put me in a helicopter. I was out on an island, put me in a helicopter and sent me to the mainland. I woke up in the hospital. I couldn't even kill myself. I couldn't tell you how much of a failure I felt in the world. I was trying to kill myself because I felt like a failure. I couldn't even get that right. When that whole energetic came around again 10 years later, having spent 10 years examining why I couldn't even kill myself, going to every religious, spiritual, man, I was there. I wanted an answer. I didn't wake up in the hospital having seen a light on the other side or Jesus telling me it's not your time. I didn't have any of that. I just woke up in the hospital and I wanted to know why I was still there. This is a process. How long it takes is up to you, Carrie. But I'm going to tell you what any spiritual teacher, anyone who's had an experience is going to tell you. Make bold experiments with your spirituality. I'm not going to tell you to give up your house, your job, and everything, go draw a circle in the desert. But I'm going to tell you, unless that's what you want to do. But I'm going to tell you to make bold experiments with your spirituality, make bold experiments with what it is you're about in being about your Father's business, right? And that's going to involve getting out of your comfort zone. If somebody shows up, like, and you've got to sort of activate it, like you've got to activate yourself. Father, help me get out of my comfort zone. The next thing that happens, someone's going to invite you somewhere you don't want to go. Somebody's going to involve you in a group of people that you can't stand, right? In a whole bunch of stuff. Where's your hat, Tina? Put your hat on. Let's have it. Tina's got this hat. Ready? Someone's going to ask you to put a hat on your head. Right? And it's going to mean something to you until finally it just doesn't mean anything to you anymore. Oh, look, she's going to do it. She's saying yes. Arlene, you're my witness to this. Oh, they don't want to make it easy for you. There we go. See, you're laughing about it now.
This has less energy than your
Right. Nothing I see means anything. Right, good. You can take it off now. Arlene's excited.
I want to wear like a Jamaican.
Right.
Rasta.
Exactly. Right. So in 100 years, those hats are going to be collector's items. I mean, we'll all be gone, you know, but like there'll be can you believe these people used to decide who runs their country by this particular method and whatever? I mean, we're on the verge of having AI run everything. So it's not going to be long until finally somebody with half a brain steps in and says, you guys don't even know what's in your own best interests.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a flag too. Oh, that's
you gave
brilliant.
Me a flag. But it took your video to actually do it.
You got to hang it outside the window, see how many people throw eggs at you.
Yeah, you know where I live, right?
You don't have to do that.
No, yeah, it wouldn't be good.
Are you going to send me the flag too?
I'm sending you the whole thing. It's all coming to you.
Oh, that's so cool. That's
absolutely.
So cool. You know the funny thing, just a little aside, like it doesn't matter who runs the country. God's in charge of everything. Jesus it doesn't matter, right? It just literally doesn't matter. You can't make a choice here for this camp or that camp, because all you're doing is deciding for the world. It's never going to be perfect here. It's always going to end in death. It's just pointless, right? Give up the world and follow me. But one of the things that happens here when we get the news, like we don't know what's going on in America. I'm guessing all you guys have it in your face all day long, like whatever. That's just how it seems. But here we just get the highlights. We get somebody said this and somebody said that. And I don't know if there's a controlled narrative with Australian news or whatever, but we tend to get all the dumb things. So when Joe Biden says something dumb, they show us that. They don't show us anything good. It's like we can't handle the truth, you know. And when Trump says something dumb or is unpopular, or when he got an assassination attempt, they showed us that. But we never get the credibility. I mean, every person is 50% credible to the other side, right? Because you're taking a center perspective and then developing your own view of it either way, right? That's where sort of communism, I guess, would work if it was a people's process rather than a singular thing, because you're focusing around a central perspective. That's why tribes work, right? So you look at tribal cultures, like in the Borneo jungles or whatever, in the what thing, they're all there to support each other. There's no self-interest, right? Everybody accepts they're part of a whole. You get 2 dozen, 3 dozen people in a tribe, like in Africa or wherever, and it's like if one person goes down, everybody supports that one person to get back up because they're integral. They don't point a finger at them and go, oh, you did the wrong thing. They help. They come together and they find this common ground where it makes sense for them to put self-interest aside and common interest to be, because otherwise the whole tribe fails, you know. And they do it around. It's like, I remember, like, this is a kind of a, like, I'm getting off track here, but I think it was Braveheart, the movie, or one of those movies, might have been Game of Thrones even, where they had to elect a new chief for the village, right? The chief had to be an older person because they'd seen more, they had more experience collectively through the thing. Had to be an older person, not too old that they were incompetent, incapable, and couldn't support themselves as in their role in the tribe. And they also had to be a warrior. They had to be someone that was the strongest, the best, like the most outstanding person. It didn't matter how much money they had. It didn't matter how many friends or whatever. It was always the most dominant person, right? That led, because that person was the best at survival. And the survival of the tribe was what was the most important thing, right? That was the top of the pyramid, and everything filtered down from that. So everyone had their job. It's like Aboriginal culture over here. They have they're called mob, but every mob has an elder or a group of elders. They have a medicine person, all that sort of stuff. And there's a structure to it, right? Maybe not in the cities, but in the Western deserts and stuff, tribes still very much operate, even though they're controlled, but they still very much operate under a respectful way of eldership and all of that sort of stuff. And it, you know, it's been a long time since I've been out there, but the elders were respected because they had that cultural, that whole heritage of knowing how it is that is the best for the tribe to survive. In Western culture, in recent times, there's been a vast divergence from that, a vast turning away from that whole collective sort of, you know, and it's become, well, this person's got more money. Basically, people are buying politicians and whatever. And I remember in the very first, if anyone's got a first edition of Disappearance of the Universe by Gary Renard, which is now, what, 30 years old, I think. I've got some sheets of it I'll send you, Tina, and maybe you can put them up. There's a bit in the back where, so Gary's visited by two ascended masters, right? R10 and Phare. And this is a support book. If you haven't heard of, if you haven't heard of Disappearance of the Universe, order it. Get yourself a copy. It's the most incredible companion to A Course in Miracles you will ever read. Right? So, oh, you got one? Tina's got all the books.
Yeah. I don't know how old it is though.
Disappearance of the Universe, right? Get yourself a copy. It will just, it's like having a whole bunch of friends in your living room telling you what's what. It's so good, right? But in the first edition, there's a bit in the back where R10 and Phare, R10, I think, was the reincarnation or the ascended version of Thomas, the disciple Thomas. And one of the other disciples, I don't think it was John, but it's been a long time since I've read it. And when you read the book, you're like, at first you can't believe it. It's like, who's this doofus, you know, Gary, and these two guys appear to him. They're just sitting on his couch. They manifest as visions or whatever. But having now myself had several visions of things, I can't say it didn't happen to him. And the tactile sense of things that I have is that it did, right? Because of my own experiences, right? But there was a bit in the back about the future and how one of the guys, R10 or Phare, was telling him, look, 30 years from now, this is going to be happening in your world. And this is going to be happening in your world. And they give him about a dozen key points of things that are going to be happening, all of which are now happening, right? And it's been about 30 years or whatever. I don't know if they tell him 30 years, but it's like in the soon future, they talk about it sort of that way. And through the whole thing, you're holding the hand of Jesus, right? Through that whole thing, because people are always going to worry about things. It's a deliberate mindset. Right? I want to worry about the future. I like to be concerned about how the past has affected my now, and all of these sorts of things. And ultimately, none of that matters. Right? Let go of the past. Let go of the future. Be here now. Right? And train your mind to be here now. That's more important than trying to reconcile the past to the future, etc., etc., etc. There are, pardon me, one of the things that's always been a very big comfort to me is the understanding that there are people in the world who will sort that shit out.
Yeah.
My job, right? My
Me
job
too.
is not to sort that shit out.
Go take
I
care
gotta
of it.
stay. I gotta stay in my own lane, right? This is my time to walk with Him. This is my lifetime to walk with God, hold Jesus' hand, and stay put with that, no matter what comes. And if I have trouble with that, I'm entitled to miracles. If I have trouble with that, I can ask in prayer for help, right? And of course, you're going to have trouble with that. Otherwise, why do you need A Course in Miracles? Why do you need 365 lessons if you're all hunky-dory? Jesus knows you're not hunky-dory. He knows the truth of you is hunky-dory, but that's not where you find yourself now. You seem to find yourself in a world beset by crazy people. It's like, all right, well, let me put my finger on one. All right, exactly. Let me own the crazy people and let me be still. Let me go into that. Let me sit with it, and Jesus will sort it out for me through the Holy Spirit. Right? You can't ask for more than that. You don't need to ask for more than that. It's a self-fulfilling promise. All you got to do is play your part. Give up the world and follow me. Every time, and this is why you have to train your mind, every time you feel tempted to interact or judge anything out there in the world as good or bad, should be this way, shouldn't look like that, I wish it looked different to that, and whatever, let go. Just let go, let go, let go. Continue to train your mind to let go. Have no opinion in the world. You're not of this world. This world is not your home. Okay, I know it's very tempting. I know it's very attractive sometimes, and sometimes it's attractive because it's repulsive, right? That's an attraction as well. Right? I react to it because it's horrible, and I react to it because it's nice. I don't want either of those camps. I don't want good or the bad, the yin or the yang. I'm not interested anymore. I see that one thing reflects the other, and if I value a grain of sand, then the whole world has to remain in witness to me valuing that tiny grain of sand. I want to give up the world and make my way back to the place where I once thought this might even have been a good idea. Right? The way out is the way in. The reason, Tyna, that you have resistance to being still and to allowing that whole thing to process, and it's natural, everybody does, right? But the reason being is because somewhere you've got the memory of that first moment of separation, which was terrifying, right? It doesn't just disappear. It's like Jesus has atoned for it, but somewhere in your mind, you don't really trust him fully about that. Right? When Jesus says, I died for your sins, or I rose for your sins is better. When Jesus says, I ascended from death for you, you're like, well, that's nice, but how does that really work for me? I'd like some proof. And we're all in the same basket. It's because we live in a world of doubt. We live in a world of denial. We live in a world where things aren't as they seem. We're overly conditioned to doubt everything. But seen rightly, that works to our advantage. All right, I'm going to doubt the world now in its entirety. I'm going to doubt everything here. I think was it Confucius? Hang on, Socrates, question everything. Buddha, question everything. Right? Question everything. Doubt everything. Anything you think in the world that you want to take for granted as being solid and dependable, and count on it and forget about it. Hold it up to doubt. Is this eternal? Can this reveal the truth to me of my true nature? Of course it can't. It's like you do this a lot. Oh, man, I bought into another illusion. Oh, man. You put that hat on your head. Oh, man. You take it off. Oh, man. Right? You can't do anything here in the world. You can't get it right. It's a place. Okay, ready? Listen. The purpose of the world is to be a place whose problems it is purposeful to keep. All right? The world is a place that will continually present you with problems to solve on a personal, global, universal level. I mean, I'm surprised that another meteor like the dinosaurs isn't headed our way just yet. You know, like, it's careful what you think, but you know, there's got to be a nexus point where awakening just goes flash pan across the globe, because so many minds now are waking up and participating in their own conscious denial of the world. Deny the denial, but don't deny you're in denial. Right? Does that make sense? Can you get that one? Noodle? Deny the denial, but don't deny you're in denial. You can't get anything right here. Right? 50 years before now, look at what society was trying to do to fix the problems of their world. 50 years from now, look at what society is going to be trying to do to fix the problems of their world. You can't fix the problems of the world. It's a revolving door. One problem gets seemingly fixed, another one takes its place. That's the world. Welcome to the world. Like Jesus says, the only thing to do in a desert is to leave. Yeah, get the hell out of there. What are you guys still doing there? You know, the only thing to do in a desert is to leave. We're in the process of leaving. We're in the process of purification, of cleaning the inside of the cup, not just the outside. Right? New wine has to go into new skins. This process is the making and the manufacturing of new skins. I'm transforming my mind. I'm reviewing and looking at, honestly, all of my old mechanisms of thought and offering them to the Holy Spirit for adjudication, not to me, because I'll just make up another idea. I'll just make up the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. This is a good idea, isn't it? Duality. Breathe. It doesn't matter. You turn on your TV, it doesn't matter who says something. It doesn't matter if Donald Trump says this and Biden says that. It doesn't matter. I don't even know the names of our politicians, because you guys, politicians, is on the news here more than ours. But it doesn't matter who says what. It really doesn't matter. You know, unless one of those guys that shows up on my TV screen is actually Jesus, reincarnated in the flesh, come back to say, hey, it's time to go. Look, look, hair past a freckle. I'm not interested. You know? But Jesus tells me that the Christ is in me. The Christ is in me and is one with me with all my brothers. You got to stand up for that. You got to represent in a world that is absolutely going to try to tell you you're crazy, absolutely going to try to get you to take a side and to deny the Christ. Who else is with this man? I am. You know it's going to cost you your body. You know it's going to cost you your life as you think it is. It was always going to anyway. You know, walking with him isn't any different to walking without him, except the result is different. You're going to have to lay that body aside at some point anyway. It's temporary. Get over it. Spending all day at the gym to get the perfect body. It's like, what? Have a good looking corpse. It's still not what you are, you know? What's happening, Noodle?
I'm just vibing.
Good. Feeling it?
I don't know what I'm feeling, but I'm just rocking happily. So
Good. Jesus is in charge. It's not even really Jesus. It's just higher, there's a higher authority. When I had my meeting with the blue people, and it's like there's been 3 meetings now, the blue people, and it's like, damn, I don't know what level of the arrangement those guys are on, but they got their shit together. They're not down here in the kindergarten. They're like at another whole thing going on, and I've had people tell me that Jesus is blue, Jesus is this and Jesus is that. And I've seen Jesus I've seen Jesus as a pillar of light. I've seen Jesus as a manifestation, as a voice. I haven't seen him as blue. Maybe I have. Maybe he was one of those guys. I don't know. But he didn't say, hey, I'm Jesus. But it's like it all becomes fun, It all becomes fun when you stop worrying about it, Carrie. Just be glad you've found this. Just be glad you've got the way in front of you now. All you got to do is put it into practice. You'll end up like Tyna. All fucked up. And that's good. Finally, there's some honesty, Finally, there's some honesty, there's some openness, there's some vulnerability. I've been vulnerable for the last 3 days, 4 days. A whole backstory to the idea of my association in the world just crumbled before my eyes as being something dependable and whatever. And it's like, thank God for that. At first, there was this mad scrambling to try and work out what was happening. And then I realized again, because of mind training, hang on a minute, just let this happen. This is perfect. I don't have to be a certain affinity with it or anything. It's just let it happen. It's just energy doing its thing. I'm holding the hand of Jesus. I'm just letting it all go. And that takes whatever it takes, Michael. Whatever it takes. Francois, whatever it takes. Make a bold experiment with your spirituality. I don't know if you guys have watched that. Maybe Tina can link it to. Are we going to put this on the YouTube channel?
It's recorded.
All right. Well, if you want to put it on there, maybe link that Mount Warning video. That was probably one of my most craziest, bold experiments I'd ever made. I climbed a mountain. It's the highest mountain on the eastern seaboard of my country. And I spent the night up there completely unprepared as an act of faith, as an act of wanting to talk to. This is before I even really knew Jesus. I hadn't yet had. This was my Jesus moment, right? It was like sub-zero up there, and I'm there in a t-shirt and a jacket, and like it was an experiment. I had to climb the mountain. I knew it. I had to do it. It was part of my thing. It took me a year or 2 years, whatever, from the time when I knew I had to do it to when I actually did it. And I was prompted by my next door neighbor because we'd been talking about it along. And he said, did you ever get up to Mount Warning and spend the night up there? And I'm like, no. And he said, man, do you want me to drive you to the base camp, not a base camp, but to the car park at the bottom? And I'm like, let's do it. And I just put a few things in a little tote bag and off I went, and I walked up, spent the night there. That's an incredible, for me anyway, maybe you guys might think, oh yeah, you don't really relate to it. But when you have your own thing, when you really go out of your way, take yourself off and put yourself, I wasn't consciously putting myself in threat of my life. I didn't realize it was going to be so cold. I had no clue what I was actually doing. It was like I was just following my heart. But when you do these things, when you get out of your comfort zone, when you actually, it's why people go on pilgrimages and things. It's like, fuck this. My life is just this cycle. I need to break the cycles. I'm going on a pilgrimage, or I'm going to go and do an act of faith somewhere. I'm going to do something. It's why people travel to India and places and sit in ashrams and Like whatever it is, it's your thing, it's your thing. But the more personal it is to you, I think the more profound it will be. Otherwise, these things tend to have a corruption about them where they become a practice or a ritualistic kind of thing that, you know, it's like people go and do Vipassana all the time and spend 10 days or 5 days or whatever you can manage sitting in the silence of your own thoughts, which can be horrific. Right? But it's become like this kind of almost cult-like practice in spiritual circle. Oh, have you done Vipassana? It's great. You have vegetarian meal, one meal in the morning, that's it. You don't eat for the rest of the day, and then you can't say anything. And it's this whole thing automatically, before you even go to do it, you've got an idea about what it is. You've already corrupted it. Right? You cannot not take it on board as a concept and have an idea about it without it already being corrupt. Right? Which is why following your own heart, doing your own thing, making your own trail and blazing your own way, that's where it's at, because you don't know what you're doing.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Hey, Eric.
to interrupt. Hello.
Go for it.
What you said about how it's almost like a script that people play out, where everyone
Right.
has their thing that they feel like they need to do. And even that can be sort of an avoidance, because if it's about transcending the world, why do you need to go somewhere in the world or do this or do that? It's
Right.
kind of a funny loop to get caught in.
Right. Right.
But yet at the same time, I hear so many stories of people that they do their thing and that ends up being the light bulb moment.
Right. Exactly. It's because everything when you do it in service, it's an act of faith. Right? It's like, Father, I don't know how to approach you. Father, I don't know if you're even real. As far as I know, you're just words in a book. People talk about God. I don't know it for myself. I don't even know what I'm doing, but I'm going to go find you. I'm going to find you somehow. So the externalizing of that is the same as the internalizing, because one is the reflection of the other, right? It's just one is very slow and the other one is instantaneous. But like I said to you, if you could draw that circle and sit there here and now and have it instantaneously, just like with total surrender, you would. Right? But for me, and I can only really give it to you from my own way, for me, I probably had half a dozen really profound moments of consciously putting myself out so that I would be confronted with the need to take a leap of faith. I would go places without, like on long journeys, without my wallet, without my keys to my house, without any kind of support. And I would just trust that I would get there and trust that I would get back by the grace of God. Right? I would deliberately, and if I died in the so doing, so be it, because that's all I ever had on my agenda anyway. What have I got to lose? Nothing. You know, it's like Monty Python. You come from nothing, you go to nothing. What have you lost? Nothing. But in the middle of that, what am I going to do? Settle for mediocrity, or am I going to be a bold adventurer? You know, and eventually those leaps of faith that I took showed me that I was supported by a power, by some kind of presence of something that I didn't understand. Right? It showed me. Every time I would step out of my front door and do something to put myself into life without a safety net, it showed me that I was supported. And it got to the point in my mind where I wanted to know the experience of knowing my supporter. And that ultimately drove me to the dark night of my soul. But for a long time, my journey was externalized. And I guess by necessity, because, you know, nobody was coming along to nail my feet to the floor. Nobody drew me a circle and said, you sit there and don't come out until you remember your father.
Of course, there are a lot of people who get to that point of the edge and they don't survive.
Right.
And so how would you know the difference between the script of, okay, if I take this leap of faith, right, that I've concocted with my mind, you're sort of telling yourself what to expect from that. And then when you survive, you say, aha, that was exactly what I had thought of. But if you hadn't survived,
Not
you wouldn't
really,
be in the
'cause that's
position
not
to do
faith.
that.
Right? If you've got an idea about it, that's not taking a leap of faith. You've got to be able to step out without any idea. You've got to reach that place where, and people have it, right? So in the example of people that are diagnosed with a terminal illness, there's no cure, there's no nothing, whatever. You got no choice, right? The only thing I've got left is faith. But that's not a leap of faith because I wanted to take a leap of faith of free will. I was forced into it, right? I was confronted with it and presented with it. And to me, there's a sort of a difference there, right? I'm not consciously looking for God. If I hadn't developed the terminal illness, would I still have put myself in a place where I would have consciously wanted to have had that faith in my life? Or would I have just carried on doing my job, my family, and whatever? You know? So when I consciously make a decision to give up the world and follow him, right? And if you look at the disciples, those guys all had jobs. They had families to feed and whatever. They were fishermen and tax collectors and whatever and all that sort of thing. And they would have grown up with Jesus in their village. They would have known Jesus was some kind of special kid. You know, if you've ever read the Urantia book, you know, the Book of the Earth, there's a section in there, it's all channeled. There's a section in there where somebody was channeled a thing about Jesus at 5 years old who killed somebody in their village by accident because he hadn't yet mastered the power of his mind, and then brought them back to life again. Whoops, sorry about that. Right? He was just a kid playing with a cosmic chemistry set, you know, like, whoops, I killed my friend. I better bring them back to life. He was a different kind of dude. Right? In our lives, we're not, let's say, or I'm not the chosen one, the Messiah, or whatever, but it is given me to live my life according to the teachings of that and to experience according to the teachings of that. I don't get salvation on my own terms. Faith isn't something I can have an idea about. That's why it's called faith.
That's sort of what's confusing, though, because you come to this point because you're supposed to have a total lack of expectation. It's not the act itself that matters.
No, ready? You're not supposed to have a total lack of expectation. You don't have any expectation. There's no supposed to about it.
Okay, yes.
All right? You're trying to foretell if you're trying to do it in your mind now. You're trying to work it out what you're supposed to do and what you're not. I'm telling you, you're going to reach a place where none of that is going to help you.
Not even the aspect of God, Jesus, enlightenment, any of that. You throw it all out.
None of it. Yep. You're gonna hit the wall. And if you've got an element of mind training about you, you'll be grateful for hitting that wall. It's like, oh, thank you, I've hit the wall. I don't know what to do. All of my beliefs, all of my spiritual rhetoric, everything doesn't serve me now. I'm at an impasse. I'm at the crossroads. I don't know which way to go. I don't know how to do anything. I'm a complete failure. I'm a complete surrender. I'm a complete vulnerable. Help me, Lord. Right? I don't even know if God's a thing. Right? I can't say yes or no to anything. I just want love. I just want God. That's it. Right? Whilst you still got an idea of how you think that might come about, might not come about, all of this sort of thing, the Holy Spirit sits back here going, yeah, we'll just wait for another 1,000 years. It's like surrender, let go. You know? Finally, the spiritual journey, let's say, or the purification process that you find yourself in is going to become completely meaningless to you. Ultimately, it's meaningless now. Because what needs healing? If you are the Christ already, you don't need healing. You don't need forgiveness. You are as God created you. But the temporal self doesn't speak to that. The temporal self says, oh, yeah, well, I feel guilty about tripping over that kid at school and I've got all these other ideas. Instantly confusing yourself with the body, with the Eric. You're not an Eric. I'm not a David. We are divine beings caught in a matrix. Divine beings undergoing this dreaming, this awakening from a dreaming. I am the Christ and so are you. Stay there. Be still in that place. I am the Christ and so are you. If God is everything, that includes you. As you find yourself to be as an Eric, and also not as you find yourself to be as Eric. It's just the only difference is that Eric is the limitation to that. So you need to transcend it or transform the idea of that being a limitation to realizing that through the miracle there is no limit and I'm entitled to miracles because being miraculous or being divine is my true nature. It's like when you let go, everything just automatically. It's like water goes around a rock in a stream. Right? The rock doesn't sit there going, oh shit, there's a big wall of water coming towards me. I've got to get out of the way. It's just like, no, I'm a rock. The water will go around me. I'm a child of God. I'm supported. All I've got to do is get out of my own way. Stop tripping over my own 2 damn feet. I've got to trust in God, trust in a higher power. It's probably never going to look the way you think it's going to look. Taking a leap of faith and being supported is never going to look like what you think it ought to look like or what you think you want. And if you enter into a moment of a leap of faith with some idea about how you think you want it to look on the other side, that's not a leap of faith. You've got to put it all on the line. I don't care, Lord. I just want healing from this thing. I just want to be out of this situation. I just need to know that you're there. Right? That's what it's for. The lessons that repeat until they're learned are not so you can learn the lesson. They're so you can come to the realization of the presence of a higher power in your life.
How do you know? Oh, sorry.
No. Ready?
Sorry.
Now, ready? Stay there. You got a grin on your face. Ready? Stay there. That's it. Look what happens when you let go of that question. How do you know? I've just been telling you to stop trying to work it out. And the first thing you say is, how do you know? You can't work it out. There's nothing to work out. Literally nothing.
Because there's no way to be wrong.
Ready? There you go. You're doing it again. Like... Ready? No. Stop. Ready? Breathe. There, you're smiling again. Stay there. Here and now. Just be. Doesn't that feel good? Yeah. Take a breath. Now, do that with everything. Do that with everything. That voice in your head is going to pose 1,000 questions and 1,000 more and 1,000 more. There's no end to it. 50 years will go by, you'll look out there and you'll go, how come this is happening? It's like, well, it's not really happening, but you failed to realize that it wasn't really happening 50 years ago, so it's got to come around and present you with that opportunity again. There is no world. Nothing's happening. We're not really here watching a video, making a Zoom, doing nothing. This is the joke. This is the divine game. This is where we all go da 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 da. Like it's the end. We're literally, right, ready? Literally at the end of time, right here and now, not realizing that it's already over. It's already done. Jesus has already ascended. We are one with him. There's nothing you can say about it. Nothing. You can't question it. You can't change it. You're included. It's the ultimate DUI or DEI, whatever it is. Everyone is included. You can drag your feet. You can ask some more dumbass questions. Or you can just start to celebrate. You can just start to be happy. You can just choose to say yes to that. It's like, holy shit, this is already done. Jesus ascended. Jesus showed me there's no death. Here, put your fingers there, Thomas. Here I am. It's like, all right, I'm going to take that on faith, or I'm going to accept it. If you take it on faith, it takes a little longer, but it doesn't mean you can change it. There's nothing to worry about, Carrie. Nothing to worry about. Be about your Father's business. Live your life in service. Forgive and be forgiven. Or forgive to be forgiven. In truth, there's nothing to forgive, but you're not going to accept that from me. I know there's always a little but. But forgiveness doesn't eliminate everything. It brings you near enough to God that the love of God can reach down to you and raise you up to him. Near enough. Right? It's like the Hare Krishnas. Hare Krishnas, you know why they have that little pigtail on the back of their head? So God can reach down and pull them up to him by the pigtail. That's exactly why they have it. Right. Whatever is lacking in you, whatever you feel doubt about in you is made up for by the Holy Spirit. You don't have to worry about it. You're a child of God. You just stay there. I'm a child of God. Anything else that pops in to try and tempt you to think that that's not so, just let it go. I'm going to forgive myself for that. I'm just going to let it go. I see that I could possibly build a whole world around a false identity. I'm going to let that go. I'm not this body. If I'm not this body at all, then none of the ideas and beliefs that I have about myself as this body have any validity. The only purpose my body has is to serve my spiritual metamorphosis. That's it. That's it. It's a useful instrument for whilst it lasts, and when I'm done with it, when I've learnt what I need to learn here, I'll lay it down and I'll move on. Stay in that. All questions are of the ego. Of God, there is only certainty. All questions are of the ego. Of God, there is only certainty. That might bring you into a place of emotional feeling a certain way about something, but so be it. You don't get out of this without confronting your fears. You don't get out of this without removing the blocks to love's awareness that you put there yourself. Right? Remember, this doesn't perpetuate itself from the world. This is before the world. The original error, the original sin, the fall from grace, whatever you want to call it. The moment of separation, the schism, the tiny mad idea, it happened in eternity. Jesus atoned for it where it happened and represented it on earth. So you can come to know of it. I've come to bring you life and life more fully. You can't have life more fully in eternity because it's already everything. You can only have life more fully on earth. Hold his hand, walk. Listen to your heart, feel it, feel it. What does my heart song tell me? What is it that I feel I got to do? If there's a physical component to it, so be it, right? The motto, the whole motto, right? Jesus says in the course, the whole motto of this course is listen, learn, and do. Listen to my voice, learn to I've lost track of how many times there's a physical component to my healing process. You might think, well, it's just in my mind. I'm just healing my mind. I don't have to, But sometimes you have to cross the street and apologize to somebody. Sometimes you have to go and say, I'm sorry. Sometimes you have to make things better for others, because by doing that, you're doing it for yourself. Sometimes you got to be your brother's keeper. Whatever it looks like, in service to God, in service to the whole, in your own personal atonement process, so be it. Don't try to spiritualize your way out of it and say, oh, it's just an idea in my mind, I'll just let it go. Sometimes there's a doing. Listen, learn, and do. And if you follow your heart, if you listen to your heart, you'll know what that is. Because you are a divine being. You do know everything already. Let it come through. Let yourself realize it. Let yourself have it and own it. If you doubt yourself, so be it. But realize that's not helpful. It's just trying to delay. Feel. Feel it. Feel your heart. Feel the way. You can't work it out in your head. That voice in there that tells you one thing and another thing, spiritual something, a worldly something, can't help you at all. You got to feel. Isn't that right, Noodle? You got to let yourself feel. Allow yourself to feel. It's okay now. I feel good. I feel like shit. I feel terrible. I feel like I want to kill myself. I feel like I want to stand on a mountain and yell, Yalakazoo, whatever. There's power in this. There's a true power in this. Isn't that right, Andre? There's a silent power. There's a vocal power. There is nothing but the power of God in you. Connect with it, heart and mind together. Heart is the passion. Mind is the decision. I'm saying yes, wow, and thank you. I'm just going to say yes to God. I'm going to say yes to everything that shows up today. I'm not going to defend myself. I'm going to be open to the correction. I'm going to be open to whatever it is, even if it humiliates the shit out of me. Even if I have to realize how fake I am. Because ultimately you do realize how fake you are. You're not that body. I'm not a body. I'm spirit. I'm not the flesh. I'm spirit. Isn't that right, D? Did I tell you I love you today? Yeah. I love you. How many people have you said I love you to today? Anyone? I told my daughter this morning. Eric told someone. D told someone. Arlene. Oh, yeah, cool. You guys are getting it. You got to feel it in here to be able to say it. You got to feel it. It's like it comes as a feeling. Love isn't a concept. It's what I am. It doesn't have to look a certain way. In this world, it can look like anything. It can look like telling someone to keep your wife's name out of their mouth. It's still love. Right? Everything here is an act of love. Everything here is the playing out of a lesson of learning, cause and effect relationships. When you see it that way, you'll stop judging it. So I don't want to judge anything that happens. Why would I want to judge anything? If this is truly my path of salvation and Jesus is in charge and I'm not in charge, then I don't want to judge it. I don't want to judge those people in another country. I don't want to judge my next door neighbor. I don't want to judge anyone or anything, because they're learning their lesson in their way, and this is me learning my lesson in my way. And my only responsibility is what? To accept atonement for myself, to mind my own damn business and have my own relationship with God. That's it. From that, it automatically extends outward from me to those who can hear it. Judge not, lest ye also be judged, and you will be if you judge. You can't put it out there and have it not come back. Cause and effect. Arlene, I love your hair. It looks like springs or something. Bring your head over closer. Let's have a look what you've done. Oh, yeah. That's good. I like it. Uh-huh. Very groovy. I think I might have to update my do. All right, I love you guys. Any questions? Anything? No? You're a good
Thanks.
crowd. Cool. Hey, you know what, Tina, just before anyone clocks off here, how far are we from those little books? Like a week?
Oh, do no. Annie still have them. So I'm still
Huh?
waiting for Annie's still helping me with the formatting of them. So Annie still
Annie?
has, yes, to get them in the way that they need to go to the printer. Yeah.
All right, so I'll chase up. I didn't realize she was doing that. I thought she was just sending you
No,
stuff.
she's helping me. No, I just sent it to her so she can show me the way that it needs to be formatted because we're using their
You mean Annie's
50.
taking it from you and he's micromanaging it?
No, well, no, yeah, a little bit, but anyway, I'm on it. It's okay. But we're using their
All right.
their lessons because they're the right formatting,
Okay.
right size.
Yeah,
Um,
those ones I did last time, they're too small.
yeah, they're too small.
Like the pages is big and the lessons like this little.
Yeah, and you're like, I
How
don't
that
know.
happened?
I don't know
Hey.
either. So Annie does. So
All right.
Hi, Dave.
And the other
Everyone, good evening. It's Dee here. I just
Hey,
wanted
Dee.
to ask you quickly if maybe you could spend a minute or so to talk a little bit about love, because I'm struggling with the idea, because I feel like we're calling love something it's not. And I feel like I don't have love, and I'm struggling because I know like I love my family, but why don't I feel the same about everybody else that I meet? Am I calling love something that it's not? You know, what
Absolutely.
is love? Like, that's what I'm struggling with. Like, I feel like, so I have no idea what love is. Because obviously, what I'm feeling for my daughter is not love. What I'm feeling for my family is not love. I feel like it's that selfishness. Because, like, why don't I feel that way about someone on the side of the street that I see? So, how could that be love? So, I don't know. I'm struggling with that.
Oh man, I love you so much right now. You are so beautiful. You are such a beautiful soul.
wow, wow.
Thank you. And yes, you're correct. It's not love, right? Love is unconditional, but it's also not love. All right. Even in our attempts to try and establish love, remember we're lost in a strange land. Okay? We are strangers in a strange land here. Our natural nature is love, to love and to be loved. Somewhere within us is this kind of drive, this kind of subliminal thing where we just want to love and just, and so we set about looking out there in the world, and it's like, well, I can love my family, I can love all these things, and we're constantly knocked back when we try to bring that out into an unconditional sense, because we've got these other judgments that say love should look like this and it shouldn't look like that, right? But when you look at love in this world, it manifests as teaching and learning, right? It's not about feeling the butterflies, but it's also not about feeling the butterflies, right? It's more than that. Love in this world manifests as a teaching and learning situation where two people or maybe a group agree to enter into a moment together where they can admit to themselves they don't know what love is. I don't know how to fix my relationship, right? All relationships here in the world end. They all fall apart because somebody did something that they think is not love, right? Somebody cheated on me, or somebody started a war, or somebody put on a Trump hat, whatever. Doesn't matter. But everything is literally love, right? Now, I'm not going to see it as literally love until I'm willing to accept for myself that I'm in a process of teaching and learning, and so is everybody else.
Mm.
In this world, we are learning about love. We are remembering love. Love is what you are. You are a being of love. But in this world, the way we witness to that is being willing to enter into our own relationship of teaching and learning so we can remember what it is in the moment. Right? And love occurs in the moment, in the relationship through forgiveness. Love through forgiveness. Love through forgiveness. This is a world, this is an experience that denies love. There's no love in the world, but there is love in you. It's like St. Francis said, if you want to receive it, if you want to see it, if you want to witness to it, you got to start giving it. And don't worry about what comes back, because at first you're going to have your denial come back. You're going to have to clean up your karma trail. You're going to have all these people going, you're crazy. What do you mean you love me? You know, and all this sort of stuff. And eventually your vibe attracts your tribe. You're going to find yourself in a place where people accept you for who you are as a being of love, because finally, through the lessons you've been through, you've accepted yourself that way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right.
Mm.
Love here is a process. It's not Disneyland. It's not you know, Princess Disney and happily ever after. It's not that at all. That's included, because love here looks like whatever you think it looks like. Right? But that brings the lesson, because love is eternal, love is all encompassing, love is unconditional. If I think love should look a certain way or not look a certain way, it's going to present me with another opportunity to learn what it is. And you're either going to be grateful for that, or you're going to want to reach around, kick yourself in the ass again for judging it the first time. Right? I want to look beyond D. I want to look beyond the idea of what I think I see you as this image on this screen, as this body with hair and eyes and nose and everything. I know that's not what the hell you are. That's just some suit that you put on to come and join me in this experience of separation. But right in here somewhere, there is a divine light that cannot be seen with the physical eyes. You got to turn down the physical and you'll notice the spiritual. That's you. That's my brother in Christ. My brother is not a body. Right? I'm given up, right? I'm given up on looking for love body to body, person to person. That doesn't work. That just ends in death. I want to see the eternal truth of you and love you as you are, and also acknowledge you as someone who is in this journey with me at whatever point you're at, learning the lessons that you need to learn to bring yourself to the realization of what unconditional love is. And to whatever degree I can, I'm going to support you in that until you no longer need me. Right? And the book, the same thing with the book. The book will support you in that until you no longer need the book, until you're on your own 2 feet and running with the idea of forgiveness. Because it's as simple as that. All right. The purpose of a teacher is to make themselves redundant to the student by giving the student as much as their information and learning as they can, that there's nothing else they can give. Right. In truth, I can't give you anything. You're already whole and perfect and complete. But look where I find my feet. I find myself in the year 2024, seemingly within the dream, within the framework of the dream, representing an idea of forgiveness that Jesus asked me to represent for my own good, for my own purification, right? And in that, it's kind of selfish. But when you start to see that my own good and my own purification, my own thing, has the ability to affect everyone else in a win-win way, a positive way, then it's altruistic. You're doing this for your world. I'm doing this for my world, which includes you. I don't get out of here without you. I'm taking the whole world that I brought with me when I go. But not as I think it is, but as it actually is, as an idea. as love, as a vibration that transcends the world. And I can tell you've been in this for however long it seems that I've been in this now. Things have shifted in my mind, shifted in my consciousness, usually through painful, fearful episodes of self-confrontation that have liberated me from so much of my bullshit. So much of it. Stuff that I didn't even know was there. Bullshit that was hidden. Bullshit that was obvious. But the Holy Spirit is a bullshit detector. If your love is not unconditional, bullshit. Right? But I love one of the things I love in the Course is where Jesus says, choose one brother as a symbol of all the rest. Right? Hey, how good is that? Choose one brother as a symbol of all the rest. It's like, you imagine this, right? If you were on a shipwreck and you and one other person got washed up on a deserted island and you had to spend the rest of your life together there and you were both doing A Course in Miracles, say, or you were both practicing some forgiveness, it doesn't matter who that person is, what you think of them, whatever, you are going to go through the entirety of what you need to go through reflected back off that person. Right? Your idea of that person is going to change.
Ooh.
At first, you're going to be glad because you got another person stuck on that deserted island with you that's going to help you survive, and you've got mutual self-interest. And then eventually you're going to be like, I fucking hate that other person. That other person's a pain. I wish I was stuck on this island with anybody but that other person. Right? And then you're going to go through forgiveness, and that other person's going to be your best friend again, right? And it's going to be this walking away, coming back, walking away, coming back, walking away, coming back. Separation, unity, again and again and again, until finally you learn not to judge. And that'll look however it looks for you, dependent on your own association with the world. Right? Your lesson will be tailored individually and perfectly for you so you can recognize it. It wouldn't be any good for a lesson to be presented to you in a forum that you don't have any clue what the hell's going on. You got to be able to track your own process and see your own shifts in consciousness. Otherwise, what's the point? You're doing fine, D. You are doing really fine.
I hope so. I've been reading the Course in Miracle, the white book. I think I started reading it when I found you on YouTube, the white one. So I just bought it off Amazon. I've been trying to go through it.
Have you got both parts?
No, I just got the one that says Jesus, the white one. But I go through the lessons with
Hold
you
it up for
way
me.
back. I go back way back in your YouTube, the daily lessons. I've been doing that.
Hold up the book. Let me see.
It's hold on. I think my background is blurry, so I have to
part A or part B? What do you got there?
I have to unblur it like this one.
She's got A.
Okay, so you need to go back online and order part B, or is that part B?
That's A. She said she's got A.
The white edition comes in 2 books. The text is one book and the workbook is the other. Is that A or B? Can't see you moving it. Hold it still there for a second. Down a bit, down, down. Okay, book A. Yeah, go and order book B. See on the front where it says book A? There's book A and book B. Book B is the workbook.
So I've been going through it, but it's kind of do it in chunks because I get like very overwhelmed reading it and certain parts and you know, yesterday I went on YouTube and somebody that I follow also that does A Course in Miracle, they posted some lesson that says, I am not a body, I am free. I'm still as God created me. And that kind of just got me overwhelmed. And I'm laying down in my room and my window was open. And somebody on my block, I live in New York, was having a party. And this song just started playing from my neighbor's party. And the words just kind of hit me like, and I went online and I look it up. And it says, I have some problems. You guys, some of you might know the song, and no one can seem to solve them, but you found the answer and told me to take a chance on love. All that I have, I give my all to you, and all this love is waiting for you. And I'm like, what is this? Is this
All
what
this
they
love
call
is waiting for you.
synchronicity? What is this? Like, and I was just
See
here
how you're
falling,
supported.
like this is, where did this song coming from?
Arlene's
My
there.
window. And I'm like, is it
Oh,
speaking
this
to me?
love.
And that's why I'm asking you to speak about love, because it says, to take a chance and learn the ways of love. Learn
Right.
the ways
You
of
ready?
yes.
You ready? Here. This is the way of love. There. Now stay there. Stay there. You are supported. Don't examine it. Don't fall into the examination of how you're supported. Just trust. You'll hear it from your neighbors. You'll hear it from people on the street corner. You ask Tina about it. She goes down her block and people are preaching on the corner. People, like, she's supported everywhere she goes. If your mind is open to the awakening, if your mind is open to love through forgiveness, that's what you're going to encounter. That's what you're going to see. If you're doubting and questioning, then you're going to have validation out there for the doubt and the question. Live from the Christ. Live from who you are. Live from your truth. You're that already. You are God mind, manifest as somebody that seems to have doubts. It's like, all right, well, I'm done with that. I see that doesn't work. Now I'm going to just live from my truth. I am the Christ. You want to see it? Give it away. You want to see love reflected in your dream? Give it away to everybody all the time, just like Arlene did. Look at that. She doesn't know what to do with it. She got so much love to give. Like, where do you begin? It's like, yeah, just. St. Francis, you have to give to receive. It is in giving that we receive. It is in giving that we receive. And not giving with some kind of idea about getting something back. Just giving. God only gives. God only gives. If you're giving and you got an agenda attached to it, that's not giving. That's bargaining.
Business.
There's no lack. There's no lack in God. God is everything. God is your supply. There's no lack in your give. You may have to confront some fears around giving because you got all these ideas about who's worthy to give to and who's not worthy to give to. But God doesn't think that way about his children. The sinner and the saint, he loves them both. He makes his sun and his rain to fall upon the righteous and the unrighteous, whatever it is, that parable. I can't remember it, but you get what I'm saying. Don't judge. Let go of judgment. And if you can't, forgive yourself for that. And if you can't do that, give it to the Holy Spirit. Father, I can't seem to forgive myself for this shit. I can't get over myself here. I'm in my own way all the time. I'm sabotaging my own best interests all the time. God damn it, I'm sick of that. And you're not going to really mean it in prayer until you truly are sick of it. It's like an alcoholic will say, I'm never drinking again. And they'll keep drinking. I'm never drinking again. They don't mean it until finally they mean it. Until finally they hit the wall. Hopefully you guys don't have to hit the wall. Hopefully you can hear what I'm saying. I love you. Give it away, give it away, give it away. To have all, give all to all. You got nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. Give it away. Thank you. I love you guys. And if you can share these videos around, like whatever, that would be awesome. Ideas are increased by sharing. And if there's one thing we need is these kinds of ideas making their way out there in the world. There's people out there that are living their lives, you know, like looking for something and can't find it. And it's like, you're going to be it. You're going to represent that to them to the best of your capacity, whether you think you're ready or not, whether you think you can or not. Because not doing that is painful. Not giving your love away hurts.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
I'm gonna give you
Give
guys
your
this
love
video
away.
too.
That's cool.
I wanted to drop Mount Warning.
Oh yeah, lock that in there somewhere.
Just dropped it.
That was a biggie for me. So
I like the
all
one
right.
with me and Anna too. You told
Yeah.
Anna and I that night, I think it was. Drop that one in the chat.
Okay.
D, I'm gonna holler at you. All right, brother.
See hey, let's do the next one when the little book, when the thing's ready for the printing.
So a couple weeks.
I reckon we should have that. We should have it at the printers in a week, I reckon. I'll get on to Annie today.
Okay.
Peace.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. D, I'm gonna message you. I'm gonna email you. G. Andre. Francois. Arlene. Kim. You.